Am I on? So Trustee Evans, we can start the Program Management Committee meeting when you're ready.
All right, I'm good to go. I'll call to order the 214th meeting of the Program Management Committee. First item on the agenda is the swearing in of Trustee Wabi. Welcome aboard, Brian.
Trustee Wabi, do you have your oath of office? Rob, is he muted?
Trustee Wabi, you are still muted.
Trustee Wabi, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Do you have?
Yeah, no.
Do you have your oath of office?
You know, I do. Hold on. Let me open it up here, and I'll read it to you and attest
That would be perfect.
what I do. Hold on. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. Sorry, guys.
You're all right. Can you find it? It's the email from me.
I got this death right now. Just in a bit. There it is. Here it is. You ready? I, Brian Wabi, being duly sworn upon my oath, state that I have all the qualifications and I am subject to none of any of the disqualifications named in the plan of the Metropolitan St District and for the office of member of the Board of Trustees of said district. That I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state and the plan and the ordinances of said district, and that I do not and will not belong to any organization that seeks to overthrow the government of the United States, that I will be influenced only by consideration of fitness in the appointment, promotion, demotion, suspension, or discharge of officers or employees, and I will demean myself faithfully in office. So help me God. There you go.
Thank you very much. You are official. Do we applaud? And as I mentioned in my email, when you get a chance, just sign the middle of that sheet and you can send me a scanned copy. We'll keep it in the files. And welcome to the board. And Trustee Evans, we can continue with the rest of the meeting.
All right, next item on the agenda is roll call.
All right, we will note all the trustees that are present.
Okay, item 3, I ask the trustees to review the minutes from January 5th, 2021. And upon review, if I could get a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Next item is the engineering department agenda items.
Good morning, trustees. Welcome, Trustee Wabi. I'll be covering the program management meeting agenda. These are the items from the capital improvement program that the board will be asked to approve next Thursday at the board meeting. So I'll cover each item. If you have a question, please stop me and we'll get started. The first item on the agenda will be a request from staff for introduction and adoption of this ordinance. It's for the 82nd Street to I-170 sanitary relief. This item appropriates additional funds on an existing construction contract with J.H. Barrett Construction. The work being constructed on the job is approximately 5,900 feet of sanitary sewers, 15 to 30 inch in diameter. The purpose of the project is to reduce inflow and infiltration in the University City watershed, reduce building backups, and relieve overcharged sanitary sewers. The project will eliminate one overflow and provide for the elimination of 4 additional overflows. This is a supplemental appropriation. The district, during the actual construction of the project, the district design staff made a request that the upstream portion of the project be lowered to accommodate a future project that is going to be built that will allow for elimination of other overflows. That was discovered during design that there was going to be an elevation conflict, so we made that request. Unfortunately, when you made that request, deepening of the sewer also deepened a tunnel, and as part of that, when we dug the bore pit for the tunnel and actually started tunneling, we ran into rock and some mixed face soil conditions, which added to our cost on the project. So the project's ongoing. It's at the location near the Interbelt and Olive, very congested area. We're asking for introduction and adoption. We're asking for the appropriation of additional $250,000. That $250,000 will bring our total appropriation for this project to $10,650,000. Are there any questions? All right, thank you. The next item is the Bissell Coldwater, Missouri Merrimack Public I&I Reduction Contract A project. This action appropriates funds and authorizes staff to enter into a construction contract. The work we'll be performing will consist of the rehabilitation of approximately 63,000 linear feet of sanitary sewers, 6 to 18 inches in diameter, using the cured-in-place pipe method. We'll be rehabilitating 76 manholes, approximately 1,000 service connection, and making 30 point repairs on the sewer. The purpose of this project is to reduce inflow and infiltration in the Grand Glaze, Fish Pot, and Fenton Creek watersheds. The district received 2 bids for this work. The low bid was received from SAK Construction. The bid was below our designer's estimate, and our appropriation of $3.4 million was below the budget for the project. Most of our CIPP projects are funded with state revolving fund loan funds, which requires MWBE participation of 10% minority and 10% women. In this case, SAK is committed to over 20% participation from the firms listed on the write-up, which meets our 10% goals for the project. Are there any questions?
Hey, Rich, the appropriation's 3.1 million, correct?
Yes, did I say something?
Okay. I just wanted to clarify, just to make
Yeah.
sure.
Apologize. Any questions? All right, the next 3 items are all green infrastructure grants the district is providing located in the combined sewer area of the city. So I'll go there, and there's each item there is an additional sheet that kind of shows the location and the work proposed. The first item is the CSO reduction green infrastructure at 3765 Lindo Boulevard. The ordinance authorized the district to enter into agreement with 3765 Lindo Oz LLC to provide financial assistance through the Green Infrastructure Grant Program. The purpose of this project is to reduce combined sewer overflows into the Mississippi River. This project will reduce runoff volume to the combined sewer system with the installation of 1 bioretention basin. The total cost of the project is estimated at $63,000, and the property owner is requesting approximately $59,400 reimbursement for the cost of this green infrastructure. And in your packet, you'll find a drawing showing the location of this project, which is in the Central West End area, just off of Westminster and McPherson. As you can see, they're redeveloping a piece of property in the parking lot for this property, and they're going to be installing 1 bioretention basin that'll capture the runoff from the parking lot and thus reduce the overflow to the sewer. All right, the next item is a CSO green infrastructure, Louisiana Avenue, Calm Street. This ordinance authorizes the district to enter into agreement with the city of St. Louis to provide financial assistance through the Green Infrastructure Grant Program for the construction of green infrastructure. Again, the purpose of the project is to reduce combined sewer overflows to Mississippi. This project will reduce volume with the installation of 8 bioretention basins along this length of street. The total cost of the project is estimated at $240,000. And the city of St. Louis is requesting approximately $240,000 reimbursement for the cost of the green infrastructure. And again, on the document provided, this is a street reduction project that the city of St. Louis is doing on Louisiana. It goes from the Merrimack Street to Gravois, quite a long street. And with the project, they're going to be building a total of 8 bioretention basins to capture stormwater runoff. Again, reducing the stormwater runoff to our combined sewer system on that street. The next item is the CSO reduction green infrastructure Mill Creek Flats project. This ordinance authorizes us to enter an agreement with Mill Creek Flats LLC for financial assistance. Again, the project will reduce combined sewer overflows to the Mississippi River. The project will reduce the volume by the installation of 2 bioretention basins, permeable pavement, underground infiltration, and including a green roof on this project. The total cost of the project is estimated at $370,000, and the owner is requesting approximately $273,600 reimbursement for the cost of the green infrastructure. Project location map. This is just down the street from us here in the Shoto area, kind of in the St. Louis University Hospital area. So as you can see, we've got a green roof, and along Teresa Avenue, they're going to be putting in some underground infiltration in addition to some retention basins. So quite a bit of green infrastructure going into this facility, which benefits our combined sewer system. All right, the next group of items are all new construction jobs that we bid over the last month. So I'll be covering those. The first one is the Mailing Creek CSO local storage facility rain garden. This action appropriates funds and authorizes the staff to enter a construction contract. The work to be done consists of construction of 1 bioretention cell and approximately cell of approximately 440 square feet. The purpose of the project, again, is to install green infrastructure and reduce flow to the combined sewer system. In this case, rather than a grant, the district had a tunnel project that we did as part of our CSO program. And with that, we built some pavement, so we're going to drain our pavement for this area to a bioretention basin. The district received 4 bids on the project. The low bid was from DJM Ecological Services. The bid was below our designer's estimate at our appropriation of $60,000, which includes $10,000 for utility relocation, is below our budget for the project. This project did have a requirement for MBE participation, but since the bid was below $50,000, there was not a goal. As of this time, the contractor did not anticipate utilizing any MBE contractors, but if he does plan to use them, we will track that information. The next item is the Midland Sanitary Relief. This action appropriates funds and authorizes staff to enter into construction contract. The work to be done consists of the construction of approximately 2,500 linear feet of sanitary sewers 8 to 18 inch in diameter. The purpose of this project is to eliminate basin backups, relieve an overcharged sanitary sewer. The project will provide for the elimination of 2 constructed sanitary sewer overflows. The district received 7 bids on this project. The low bid was from Kolb Grading LLC. The bid was below our design estimate. Our appropriation of $1.35 million which includes contingencies, and $215,000 for utility relocation, is below our original budget for the project. Cold Grading is committed to 17% MBE participation, which meets our 17% MBE African American goal for the project. The next item is the Watkins Creek Pump Station replacement. This action appropriates funds and authorizes staff to enter into a construction contract. The work to be done consists of construction of a new submersible pump station at an alternate location outside the floodplain. The purpose of this project is to replace an aging mechanical and electrical equipment and to address flooding issues from the backwater of Mississippi River. The district received 2 bids on this project. The low bid being from Plocker Construction Company. The bid was below our designer's estimate. The appropriation, our total appropriation is $7.9 million, is below our 2-year planned appropriation. This appropriation at this meeting will be for $5 million, and there'll be another future appropriation of $2.9 million on the project. Again, on this project, there was a 17% African American MBE goal on the project, and Plocker Construction committed to that 17% on the project. The next project is a Nottingham Estates Drive storm sewer. Appropriates funds and authorized staff to enter a construction contract. The work to be done consists of construction of approximately 243 feet of storm sewer from 15 inches in diameter. The purpose of the project is to alleviate yard flooding in the 5200 block of Nottingham Estates in unincorporated St. Louis County. The district received 9 bids for this particular project. The low bid received was from Tailor Made Construction Company. The bid was below our design estimate, and our appropriation of $110,000 is just below the budget for the project. Tailor Made Construction has committed to subcontracting just over 17% MBE for African American on the project. And I also wanted to point out that Tailor Made is an African American, so we should receive full participation on this particular project. The next item is St. Simon Court Storm Channel. This action appropriates funds and authorizes staff to enter into a construction contract. The work to be done consists of construction of approximately 40 feet of storm sewers. The purpose of the project is to repair a deteriorated stormwater outfall out to a creek at this location. The district received 4 bids on this project. The low bid was from Kelp Contracting Incorporated. The bid was below our design estimate. Our appropriation of $110,000, which includes $20,000 for utility relocation, is above our original budget for the project. Kelp Contracting has committed to slightly over 17% African American MBE participation on the project. The following item is, again, a request. We're asking the board to introduce and adopt on this ordinance at next week's meeting. This is the Emergency Repair 065. This is a supplemental appropriation. The district brought this to you a couple months ago, and I'll explain the project here in a second. We're coming now for additional funds. The initial funds that we appropriated, we knew were not going to be enough to make the repair, but allowed us to get in there, stabilize the situation, and assess and determine what we needed to do to complete the construction. Our contractor on the project is KCI Construction Company. The work we're doing will include the temporary and permanent relocation of the electrical and communications services and repair a pipe failure. The pipe failure is directly above the electrical structure and approximately 15 feet below. When the electrical is secured, an excavation will begin to determine the extent of the failure, and we'll complete the repair at that time. Based upon the recommendation from the staff, the executive director approved this emergency on October 26th. The contractor KCI was selected per our policies. Additionally, what we found during our exploratory is that when we started digging on this project, it's located at our plant. You'll see that with the diagram that I provided. We have a hill above us and a hill below where this excavation was to take place. And there are quite a few district facilities in this area that have come into conflict. So the first order of business was to stabilize the bank above where we're going to be excavating. So now we can go to the diagram, kind of give a brief description of the diagram. The first diagram is actually a schematic of what's going on there. The green line is a 108-inch brick sewer that was built about 100 years ago. That provides all the sanitary flow under River de Pere into our pump station. And then the yellow line is another 72-inch sanitary trunk sewer that comes from the Gravois watershed that also drains in. These are both directly below the bottom of River de Pere, and they flow into the pump station along this bank. And then the dotted lines that you see is the electrical and communications lines that run from our pump station at Lime down to, if you go down River de Pere, all of our pumping stations and gate structures that are along River de Pere. All these electrical conduits and communications duct banks serve those pumping stations. So this is a highly critical project because if we would lose those electrical bank or even either one of those sewers, we would have major sewer spill or lose our communications and power to those facilities. What we found, there was a void directly underneath the square vault that's shown there. We started to dig on that, to go down on the 108 to see what needed to be repaired. The hillside above us started to slide, so we had to stabilize. You'll see there look like a list of eyes there that they are actually shoring that the district has put in place to stabilize the bank above us to keep it from sliding down. And we found we could not hold the duct bank up and dig underneath of it, so the majority of the appropriation that we're making now will be to relocate these electrical and communication lines temporarily while we go down and make that repair. And then we're actually going to relocate it to where hopefully it will never happen again, that if there's any issues with either one of these two major trunk sewers, we would be able to make the repair without affecting the electrical box. So the total appropriation, additional appropriation that we're asking for with this is approximately $2 billion, which will bring the total appropriation on the project to $2.5 million. I do have my project manager here in the meeting today, Kent Kotoff, if there are any questions.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
On the where it says void pipe break, where's the sewage going when there's a break like that? Is it?
It's actually a cave-in from the top, from the surface. The sewers are flowing fine. It's going on through, but what you're getting is you'll get water from the surface that then goes down into the sewer. It's not a lot, but it's created enough of a void that's put the electrical structure in damage. You'll hear us refer to it as a cave-in. If you see a cave-in on a street, it's usually the water from the surface getting down to the sewer. So what we'll do, Mr. Singers will dig down, make the repair. We did look at the sewer in other words, we floated a camera down this 108-inch sewer, which has quite a bit of flow in it, and we could see water leaking in from the surface. We weren't able to see quite the extent. We don't think it's a large hole in the top of the sewer, but we do need to get and make the repair before it gets much worse.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Thank you. Just two more items. Both of these items are requests from staff to proceed to easement condemnations on projects we have planned to construct where we've been unable to acquire the easements in a timely manner, and we need authorization to proceed to condemnation in order for the property owners to get into a formal discussion. The first project is the Bellevue Avenue Lateral Sewer. This ordinance authorized staff to proceed with further condemnation efforts, including the filing of all necessary court pleadings and documents leading to the acquisition of permanent easements or construction easements on one parcel of ground in the city of Richmond Heights. The easements and temporary constructions are needed to construct a project which consists of the construction of 266 feet of 8-inch diameter sanitary sewers. The purpose of this project is to eliminate a common sewer lateral. There was a sewer that was a 6-inch sewer serving approximately 5 homes in this area, and we're replacing that with a larger 8-inch and replacing the structures. It was something built prior to MSD, so there were no easements, so we're getting easements to do the work. If you go to the drawing showing the location, the property that's in yellow there, obviously, we're doing quite a bit of work on that person's property. So we're gonna, so we've made an offer for that, for both the permanent and temporary easements, and tried to work with the owners, but we're quite a bit far apart on the compensation for the easement. We're still talking with them, but at this point, we feel like in order to complete the project and get the sewer built like we need to, we need permission to proceed to condemnation. All right, the last item is the South Broadway at Merrimack Combined Sewer Replacement Project. Again, this ordinance authorized staff to proceed with further condemnation effort, including the filing of all necessary court pleadings and for the acquisition of permanent and temporary construction easements on 2 parcels of ground, and these are located in the city of St. Louis. The easements and temporary construction easements are needed to construct a project which consists of the construction of approximately 1,700 feet of 12 to 30-inch combined sewer. The purpose of this project is to alleviate wet weather building backups and overland flooding. This is a combined sewer that needs to be replaced with a larger line to avoid basement backups in the area, and also to prevent some localized floodings at this location. The district, we required 2 easements on this project and have been unable to get either one on the project. If you go to the sketch, the 2 parcels are right next to each other. Most of the rest of the construction is actually in the street. Parcel number 1, which is labeled, which is the parcel up to the top, is a property owner, and one of our issues here is we were having difficulty, nobody making contact, and once we did make contact, we found that there's a change in ownership, and now we're having difficulty talking with the new owner. So in order to get this project complete, again, we're requesting to go to condemnation. The second property, which is at the bottom of the page, which is parcel labeled as parcel 3, is actually a Hardee's restaurant. And as you can imagine, coordinating and getting an easement from a fast food restaurant to work out all the details with regard to keeping them open and not disturbing their work. We have a contact there, and apparently the contact has changed several times, so we're just having difficulty getting to the negotiation table on this particular property. Again, giving us permission doesn't necessarily mean we will go to condemnation. Generally, we're able to work things out, but having the permission usually gets their attention enough to bring them to the table for discussions. Any questions on that? If not, trustee, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Is there any other business before the board? Hearing none, the next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, March 2nd, 2021. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes the meeting.
Trustee Fair, we'll let you know when we got things switched over.
Thank you.
How are you doing? How are you, sir?
Okay, welcome to the 263rd meeting of the Finance Committee of the Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District. We get a roll call, please.
Yep, we'll note all the trustees that are present.
All right, and a motion for approval of the minutes from January 5th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All right, the minutes are approved. The next item on the agenda is a resolution regarding Clifton Larson, option year 4.
Right, that's Marion.
Good morning, trustees. This particular resolution will authorize the district to exercise the final option year of our contract with Clifton Larson Allen, or CLA. CLA performs audits which include our year-end financial statements, our pension plan, our federal grant awards, to name a few. The initial contract that was awarded to CLA included a one-year contract with 4 option renewal years. Again, this is a final option year, so the contract will be rebid later this year. Are there any questions that I can answer? Okay, thank you.
All right, the next couple of items are mine. We'll start with the portfolio update. That is the sheet we look at every month. I'm going to do a little more explaining on this one since we look at it every month, and this is Trustee Wabi's first meeting. That should just take an extra minute or so. So every month we look at our operating portfolio. This is really a summary of our investments. So we'll start in the upper left-hand corner, where you can see our portfolio at the end of January was about $720 million. This point of the year is usually, this balance is at its highest because we usually go to the markets to borrow money in December, which we did this past December. So we have some funds that we'll use for capital throughout this year. And then also in December, January, and February, we are collecting property taxes from the city and the county. Those are coming in right now. So this balance is typically at its highest right about now, and we should see it go down throughout the year as we spend on operations and on capital projects and pay debt service. We do benchmark our portfolio versus 1 to 3 year Treasury benchmark. There are some differences between our portfolio and the benchmark, which I'll talk about. So right now, yield to maturity, our portfolio is much higher than the benchmark. The main reason for that is that the benchmark is invested only in 1 to 3 year Treasuries, and value is reset every month. So since rates are very low, you can see that 1 to 3 year Treasuries are only getting about 13 basis points, far less than, only close to about 1/10%. That portfolio turns over much more quickly than our portfolio. We have some investments that we bought a year, 2 years ago when rates were much higher. So that's why the yield to maturity in our portfolio, while low and dropping, is much higher than the benchmark. So we're at about 86 basis points, or a little bit under 1%. As rates continue to fall, our portfolio will chase the benchmark down. Then when rates start to rise again, our portfolio will also lag on the way up. The WAM is the weighted average maturity. The benchmark, being in the 1 to 3 year treasuries, is usually right in the middle there, close to 2 years, and there it is at 1.92. Our portfolio, because we need the funds to actually spend on capital projects and on operations, is typically much shorter, and so we're at about 3/4 of a year is our average portfolio. But we invest only in highly rated securities, and our portfolio does match the benchmark with high AA average ratings. Moving over to the top right in the sector allocation, these are the types of investments we're typically invested in. We do have some interest-bearing collateralized deposits that are there for liquidity. The bulk of our portfolio right now is in U.S. Treasuries, safest security there is. That's almost 50% of the portfolio. Federal agencies make up the next biggest portion at about 32%, roughly a third of the portfolio. And then commercial paper comes in third. Commercial paper, typically we can get a little bit higher yield, but it might be a little bit riskier in this market, so we've kept that below the policy limit. In better times, we're usually closer to the policy limit, but we are within our policy limits in all those sectors. Fund summary in the bottom left. This just gives you a rough idea of where our funds are. So really the debt reserve funds, the debt project funds, and the SRF operating fund are all related to spending on capital projects and reserves for debt to pay debt service. So again, those funds, especially the debt project fund, is higher than where it was, say, 3 months ago, because we just issued new bonds in December. The MSD operations is just kind of a catch-all for a lot of other funds that we use for operations. There's some reserves in there, but that's always going to be the highest portion of the portfolio. And we have, generally laddered maturities throughout these different portions of the portfolio, and you can see that a little bit in the maturity distribution. The blue bars are our portfolio, the red bars are the benchmark portfolio. So again, the benchmark's all in that 1 to 3 year range. Ours is usually a little bit more balanced than this, but we've been keeping funds a little bit shorter. Interest rates are so low, there's not a lot of gain to go out farther, and then it keeps us liquid. As we've gone through the pandemic, we've made a concerted effort to keep funds liquid, not knowing exactly how revenue would respond to the pandemic. So I know that's a little bit longer explanation than I usually give. That was for the benefit of Trustee Wabi. Are there any questions on the operating fund portfolio? All right, hearing none, I'll move on to an SRF loan update. I don't have a presentation for this. I'm just going to give a couple quick verbal comments. Last month, the board approved 2 ordinances for SRF loans. Those loans did close about 1.5 weeks ago. Total is about $103 million. We got a rate of 0.78%, or 78 basis points. That's the lowest rate we've ever received, breaking our record set about 6 months ago where we got 80 basis points. The SRF loans are a good way for us to diversify the funding for our capital project because of the low rates. I estimate we saved the ratepayers roughly $30 million over versus doing our traditional 30-year bonds that we typically go out for in December. So we've been making an effort to try to get more SRF funds to fund the CIRP program because of the low rates. And that will pay off in the long term. The bulk of the savings on the SRF is in the back end. SRFs are 20-year loans and have the very low rate, but the traditional bonds that we do are 30-year loans, so not having to pay the debt service for those extra 10 years makes a big difference, and obviously the low rate has an impact as well. So that was I just wanted to give you an update. At the time you approved the ordinances, we hadn't had the rates set yet, but another record low rate for SRF. And then it's not on the agenda, but I do have one quick thing I wanted to bring up, and then I'll ask Trustee Singer for some assistance here. I don't remember if it was last meeting or in December, Trustee Singer had mentioned that he had wanted to talk a little bit about our relationship with Aon, our pension consultant. If you remember, they had recommended a year ago that we get into a fund called Allianz. It was a global equity fund that also sold some options for some extra income. We were working through the subscription paperwork, and so had not finalized that investment when the markets kind of blew up last March due to the pandemic. The end result is that that fund was blown up and eventually retired. We never invested in it, so we didn't suffer any losses. But I know that he is concerned that they recommended a fund that ultimately failed. And so right now the plan is for he and I to talk to Aon to just to understand a little bit more their processes, how they came to recommend the investment, and what, if any, changes they are implementing as a result of the failed fund. And then our plan would be to report back to the board. Trustee Singer, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
No, I just would like Tim and I to, my goal is for Tim and I to have a common recommendation to the board. So, I feel very strongly that Aon could have, clearly made a mistake, a big mistake that we luckily avoided, which could have resulted in the loss of something like $30 million of public money, which would have been a tremendous embarrassment, to put it mildly. So trying to understand what Aon did and why we should continue to do business with them is the goal of what Tim and I are going to try to get to the bottom of.
Any questions? All right, if there's no questions on that, Trustee Fair, I don't have any other business for the finance meeting.
Okay, thank you. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, March 2nd, 2021. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, second. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
We have a second.
Second.
Yes, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
So we're going to go ahead and switch things out, and Mr. Wilson will get Trustee Wilson will go ahead and get the next meeting started. Should be a short one here in just a couple minutes. We'll let you know when we're ready. Good. Trustee Wilson, we're ready when you are.
Okay, thank you, President. Good morning, and I welcome to a new member, Trustee Wabi. I'd like a roll call.
All right, we'll note all the trustees that are present.
There are no comments by the chair. I'd ask the trustees to take a quick look and get a motion for approval of the January 5th Stakeholders Committee meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Minutes are approved. Let's move on. Get through this fairly quickly today. Ms. Meyer?
Good morning, everyone. Proposed ordinance 15627 will be on next Thursday's agenda. It's a contract for legal consulting services with Shands, Elbert, Johnalakis, and Giljam. The contract with them will secure specialized legal consulting services on matters involving stormwater and wastewater rate consulting. We've had a contract with them previously. It is expiring in March, so this is a new contract. It would be a one-year contract with 3 one-year renewal options. Bob Murray is our primary contact at Shands, and he has supported us in the past during the rate commission process, and also when we're reviewing some of the technical aspects of the upcoming rate proposals. So that will be on next week's agenda. Are there any questions?
Do they bill us by the hour for this, or is it a flat fee?
They bill us by the hour. The hourly rates range from $310 for a partner 1 to $185 an hour for a partner 4, the way they're set up. Bob is a partner 2, and his hourly rate is $250 an hour. Over the past 3 years, we have averaged less than $25,000 a year with them.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Meyer. Are there any other issues that weren't on the agenda that anyone wishes to raise? If not, the next meeting is scheduled for March the 2nd, and I'll entertain a motion for dismissal, for adjournment, apologies.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay. It's been the pleasure of my life, folks. The meeting is adjourned.
Trustee Wabi, congratulations for attending probably the shortest committee meeting we've had in 10 years. Thank you, everybody.
Have a great week, everyone.